Hello guys, Elliot here from Chelsea 24/7 and I cannot wait for the start of the new season. We finish our pre-season with a match against Fiorentina at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday evening and I cannot wait. I've chosen a team that I think will and should start against Fiorentina, and here's a team. So I've started a strong team with Asmir Begovic in goal, with Ivanovic playing next to Zuma and Terry, Azpilicueta on the left, Fabregas, Ramirez, Moses, Oscar and Hazard in midfield. And Falcao has starting his first game for Chelsea up front. I believe it's a strong enough team to face them, and it's a team which some players might even break into the starting 11. And a lot of the players already are in the starting 11, so it's a team that it's shown that we will not underestimate Fiorentina at all. So I cannot wait. Let's talk about the team. So in goal, Asmir Begovic, I feel he's a new sign. He's had an alright pre-season, and I think we're playing him to get him match fit also, but mainly to get him used to the bridge and used to the people he's going to be playing with, the likes of John Terry, Azpilicueta, Ivanovic and Zuma. Now we're over to the guy who hasn't had the best pre-season uncharacteristically, Branislav Ivanovic. He's not been that good this pre-season, which is very uncharacteristic, as I said, but I feel it's down to match fitness. He's had a long holiday, he's come back, and he will be back to his normal self when the season starts. He'll be raring to go, and I will not be surprised if we see him get forward quite a lot. Next up, the man who's going to be playing next to Ivanovic, our captain, Mr. Chelsea himself, Mr. Reliable, Mr. John Terry. He's had an alright pre-season. He's not been amazing, but he's made a couple of mistakes. I feel John Terry will be back once again, like Ivanovic, to his normal self, raring to go. He's a winner, and that's what winners do. They want to win things, and so will John Terry, and John Terry is the best there has ever been at Chelsea in defence. Next up to the young man, Kurt Zuma. I feel he should play, as he's had a good pre-season. It will also get him ready for the new season, and as we've seen him last season prove, he's good enough for us, and he's good enough for the Premier League, so I will not be surprised if we see Kurt Zuma breaking into the first team and pushing Gary Cahill and John Terry all the way. Match fitness is key for him, obviously, as well, as a youngster, but I feel we've got a fantastic player in Kurt. Next up, Azpilicueta. Poor pre-season, just like Ivanovic, but by the time the new season starts, he'll be raring to go. Just like JT and Ivanovic, as I said, match fitness is key. And Azpilicueta is a winner, just like JT, and he'll be raring to go for the new season, so I have no doubt in my mind that he will be playing fantastically. Next up, Cesc Fabregas. I believe Cesc has had an average pre-season for the sort of player he is, but he will be back to his normal self. As most of the players have mentioned, cannot wait for the new season. He will be one of the best and strongest players and a key player for us in the coming season. Next to Cesc is Ramirez. I feel that Ramirez hasn't had the best pre-season, but I feel he's coming into the Chelsea team. He knows the team well, he knows the fans, he knows the club well. He will play really, really well for us, and he is going to be a key player this season, coming in to replace the likes of Fabregas and Matic, and sometimes playing the bigger games against the likes of Man United, which you've seen him do before. He's got an engine and he's a fantastic player. Next up, Hazard, our key man, the magician himself, Eden Hazard. He's going to be such a key player. I feel he didn't have the best game against Arsenal, but neither did quite a lot of the players. Him playing against Fiorentina will help him get back to his normal self, and I will not be surprised if we see him score on Wednesday evening. Next up, Oscar. He's been a bit of a half-season player since he came to Chelsea, with no rest, really. Been playing for Brazil the whole time, but he's had a full pre-season, and a full rest. No international football for him this summer, and he will be absolutely raring to go for the new season. I promise you, he is a quality player, and he will prove it this season. He will obviously be pushed by the likes of Cesc Fabregas for his place, but I feel that he will win them battles. Next up, a player who's really, really surprised me. I did not think he'd make the squad. I thought he'd be sold, but Victor Moses absolutely surprised with this guy. I think he's had a fantastic pre-season, and he will push Willian, and he will push the likes of Oscar and Willian for them midfield places. And I think he's quality, and I think he's going to be fantastic for us this season. And I never thought I'd hear myself saying that. Next up, the new man himself, Falcao. He's looked really sharp this pre-season, incredibly sharp, and I did not think that for 1 minute Falcao would look that sharp. I thought it might have been the end of his career, really, but Falcao was proved to us this pre-season that he is up they're pushing. He's going to push Remy and he's going to push Costa for them places. And I think that Radamel Falcao now is ready to challenge, and I think starting him will be ideal. I've chosen some players who I think should get some time off the bench tomorrow and throughout the season. I think Cuadrado needs some time off the bench tomorrow. He needs to prove that he's the guy we brought. And he's found it hard fitting in, but I think Juan Cuadrado is still a quality player. And if he can prove it to us, he will be pushing Willian and now also Victor Moses for places in the team. I hope he gets some time though, because I wouldn't want to see him be sold with no time at all. But Traore, on the other hand, also got a hard challenge to get into the team. The likes of Hazard, Willian, Moses and Cuadrado to get past. But I feel that I've heard quite a lot about him, and everything I've heard about him is good. So if we can see that he's good and he can prove to us that he's what everyone's been talking about, I think we've got a fantastic player. Another prospect for the future, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I think we saw a bit of him last season. I feel I'd love to see him off the bench tomorrow, and I'd love to see him at least 15 times, 16 times next season, because I want to see if he's really as good as what everyone's saying. I think we've seen quite a bit of him. Like the game against Liverpool, I was there, and I thought he played fantastically. He's a prospect for the future, and I think that he needs to prove to us that he's ready for fight for places. Another player who's going to be so key for us next season, like Remy. I think if Costa keeps picking up little injuries, I think Remy's going to be absolutely massive to us next season. He's proved to us that he's clinical, and he's proved to us that he can do the business. He didn't play so well in the Community Shield, but I think Loic, he's one of them players who rarely has a bad game. And if we can keep Costa fit, he's going to have to fight for his place in the team. So I want to see how good Remy is.